Chairman Grimson, Excellencies, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted and honored to join all of you at the Arctic Circle Assembly today. Since the inaugural assembly in 2013, Singapore has participated in every edition. I'm therefore glad that we continue to be able to be part of the important discussions at this forum this year. You might ask, why is Singapore an Arctic Council observer despite being located on the equator more than 7,000 kilometers away from the Arctic? The reality is that what happens in the Arctic has a profound and significant impact on a small island state like Singapore. About 30% of Singapore is less than 5 meters above sea level, making our country vulnerable to rising seas caused by a warming planet. A recent study revealed that over the past 4 decades, the Arctic region has warmed at a rate that was nearly 4 times faster than the rest of the world. The Arctic region is now roughly 3 degrees Celsius warmer than in 1980. Another study suggested that even if humans were to stop emitting greenhouse gases today, the current warming would have caused Greenland's ice sheets to lose 3.3% of its volume, which would contribute to a 27.4 cm rise in sea level. For small, low-lying island states like Singapore and others, including Iceland, our gracious host, climate change is an existential challenge. That is why it is even more important today for Singapore to work with and support multilateral institutions like the Arctic Council and platforms like today's Arctic Circle Assembly to find actionable solutions to combat the effects of climate change. Singapore's carbon footprint is small. We account for around 0.11% of global carbon emissions and rank 126th out of 142 countries in terms of CO2 emissions per dollar GDP. About 95% of our electricity is generated from natural gas, the cleanest fossil fuel, and we have implemented policies to cap vehicle growth and manage vehicular emissions. However, we are not complacent and continue to make significant efforts in greening Singapore. Last year, we launched a national sustainability movement, the Singapore Green Plan, to chart ambitious and concrete green targets over the next 10 years. This will position us to achieve our long-term net zero emissions aspirations as soon as viable. Towards this end, we have announced this year that we will raise our climate ambition to achieve net zero emissions by or around 2050. Amongst our many initiatives that touch almost every dimension of our lives in transitioning to a low-carbon future, Singapore is actively studying and investing in advanced low-carbon solutions such as carbon capture, utilization and storage technologies, and hydrogen. We plan to quadruple local solar production from 2020 levels by 2025. In July last year, Singapore opened the world's first inland floating solar panel farms. The annual carbon emission reduction accrued is equivalent to taking 7,000 cars off the road. Innovation is key for a small country like Singapore, and we also look to collaborating with innovative, like-minded Arctic partners to find solutions to address pressing issues with global implications, such as the accelerated warming of the Arctic and climate change. Singapore's institutes of higher learning, such as the National University of Singapore and the Nanyang Technological University, have in place comprehensive memorandums of understanding with academic and research institutions with expertise on the Arctic. Our institutions also undertake research in Arctic technology, including studying the readaptation of off-grid energy solutions that have been used in rural communities in Southeast Asia to be used to benefit remote communities in the Arctic. Of note, the National University of Singapore's Technology Centre for Offshore and Marine contains a deep ocean water basin facility which has the potential for Arctic research applicability. We also set up the Center for Climate Research Singapore to enhance our understanding of climate science, including how climate change in the Arctic affects polar ice sheets. In May 2022, a Singapore delegation from the Nanyang Technological University went on an expedition visit to research centers and observatories in Svalbard, Norway. The team was looking to expand areas of collaboration and had planned to utilize the satellite imagery to study the impact of climate change and sea level rise in the tropics. I'm certain that we will see many more of such meaningful and impactful Arctic tropics collaboration in the future. Beyond our current collaboration, Singapore is keen to step up cooperation with many Arctic states in managing the negative effects of climate change. You can count on Singapore as a committed friend, partner, and champion for the Arctic region. Thank you.